Hello, this is Gerald Tuanvas. I'm not very good in remembering flower names, and especially I don't know any English names, so that's a good opportunity for me to figure out if my theory that says that every letter position also easily has a formation process around it is a match or is not a match. So I can always test it in this way, and I took out a flower name where I have no clue what it is, PHLOX, and I will just explain it from the letter positions. I will show a process with it, a formation process, and yeah, depending on how well I do it, it should actually be a match, because that's what my theory says. It expresses the form, and it will fit with the form as how the letter positions describe it where our focus should be. So let's do that. Let's figure out without knowing what the essence of that plant is, and let's figure out. If I make a mistake, then I can also check, is it because the theory doesn't work, or is it maybe because I didn't follow the rules well enough, and I can still adapt it a little bit with be tricky, not to lie to myself, but really do what I have described, what I can do and what I should do in the word. When I have a word and I build it up from underneath to up and to the ending, it's not just in one go. I have it in one entity together, so in one big form that only expresses that is the ideal. So if so even if I make a mistake of following P to H to L to X only in that direction, I can still add it a little bit more to have just one focus. So I will not lie, but I will build it up from the letters themselves and then see if it matches with the flower. If it doesn't matches, that's the only thing I can still allow myself to do, nothing else. Otherwise, I'm maybe wrong, or I'm very bad interpreter. I should be good enough as an interpreter. So let's find out if PHLOX can be derived to a sound in form image. The P, if you look at it up in my scheme, it actually is like an end goal of a direction. So it will end in a certain surface which stands out like that. And of course, if you look at it from the whole position of everything what is there that can exist, I could add the first direction. It's my starting vision is that blue arrow. Doesn't matter very much in the design, but I have it in my focus now. It's about the growth process, so I follow it from the start. Then I follow the direction, that's the direction, and that direction should have an ending there. So it would have a kind of pop-up form in the end, where I will have my form that is the basis of PHLOX. It's combined with H. That makes it a bit more difficult, because then it means that I have to use it as a frame. So also it means most of the time, not just once, but multiple times, I have to have like a formula. I have a formula that I can repeat, and everywhere where it fits in the right time and space, I will be able to add it. So P and H together is that kind of frame. So I have it here in its totality, but the end result will of course be on that top layer. But it's expressed also as F. Now I also will have to deal then with that F. F is in as a position of focus, which actually, if you read it in my scheme, it's at the end of the directions, and it's the end of directions where you won't have a really steady result. Like in the end you have just one result, and that's where all the things are happening. The F is, it's still in a formation process. It's having trouble to figure out, like in the F, figure out where it's going to. It pushes itself up. It wants to be a highlight, but it has a lot of feedback already, and the maximum of feedback that will result in that we will try to go and look into the feedback process alone is at the P, of course, that will be the end of the process of all directions. But the forming of a process is in F. F means upward, but upwards, also with a lot of feedback. So you never know where you will end in the end. So it can be quite irregular. And that's one of the features that, because of that position, is important for F. So it means we will have a pattern popping out which will have some irregularity because it will adapt to what it needs in that feedback process. That's what I can make up from it already with F as P, P and H. So let's see with the next letter what we will have. So of course I will have the pattern first. I will see, okay, I will have a pattern, the PH, P with the H together. It will be a pattern with a certain irregularity. Where that irregularity is, I don't know yet, but let's make it regular at this point, that we will have a pattern. Okay, let's see. The L will also say it will, there will take, will be a form. There will take, something will take shape there. I will make it a bit irregular where it will take shape, because I'm still not sure is this irregularity of F having an effect on the form. I don't know, but I will deal with it. It should have an effect that there also in the form might occur certain irregularity. Where that irregularity will be described further. The O is the next thing, which it says there's a growth process involved, and it will have focuses. I have these three focuses within that growth process. Okay, so I have now at the end three focuses on a variety, a certain variety of what is growing there as a certain pattern. The last letter is the X, so the X will focus on the borders, and that irregularity will be shown in the borders. So we'll have the pushback actually each time in the borders. So that will make a certain irregularity at the borders as well. So that's what I can make up. This is all built up from scratch, from interpreting that I say, okay, it should be somewhere in that direction for the description of the flower. I have no clue what it is, so let's now look up the flower. The flower looks like this. So concerning the irregularity at the borders, okay, I can deal with that, but the form of the plant is much more like a candle. So that is not really 100%. So did I do something wrong? Then I said I can only do one more thing, is to see that the PHLOX expression is not just going from 1, 2 to 3, but also having a full form in it in the one expression. So that's what I can still do. I can have the first pattern, the PH there, which is about a pattern. H is about patterns, so I can have this pattern spread into a form. So that is a possibility that I can read it as just one word, not into three parts, one word. So I'll add the fl on top. So there is my form, and then the ox. So then I have to have the ox on it, and when I have the ox on it, yes, I have the flower. So okay, it sounds a bit tricky, but actually I am quite close to figuring out what where I recognize the plant, where the PHLOX is. That's where the PHLOX is addressed to in my focus, in my attention. So it is there in my attention. Maybe the borders were even a bit different, but I have a sense already. I'm going there. I'm going to that direction. So yes, I know. I can recognize the pattern of phlox. And then I have to it's best that I leave out, of course, all what is helping me to build up, that I only have the form in the end. So when I only have the form in the end, yes, I come pretty close to the plant. Not exactly into the amount of leaves, but okay, I don't know everything where I have to deal with in numbers and so on. I didn't do that, but I have already the sense of what my attention is going to. So yes, that is the pattern of phlox. I hope this was also a new contribution of recognizing patterns in letters into a plant, and you can have some more preparations via the books, via the Facebook page, or via my webpage where all the previous videos are linked. Thanks again for watching. Bye.